Hello geometry students, today's learning target is to talk about properties of a square. Since a square is a parallelogram, the opposite sides are parallel, so I'm going to mark those in red. And what makes a square special is a square is really a rectangle and a rhombus. And I'm going to write that down here at the bottom. So a square is both a rectangle and a rhombus. So what that means, since it's a rectangle, we get 4 right angles. So I'm going to mark those angles to be right angles. So we get 4 right angles. Since a square is also a rhombus, the opposite sides are congruent, and in fact, all 4 sides are equal. So we have 4 congruent sides. Opposite angles, notice, are still congruent, and consecutive angles are still supplementary. Now let's talk about the diagonals. Since a square is a rhombus, the diagonals are congruent. So the diagonals are congruent, which means NR and RQ and RP and MR are all the same. In addition, since it is a rhombus, we have 4 right angles in the middle. So we say the diagonals are perpendicular. And since it's a rhombus, we also get the diagonals bisect the angles. And since the angles are 90 degrees in the corner, if we were to cut that in half, this angle PMQ is 45 degrees, the one above it is 45 degrees, and in fact, all of the angles are 45 degrees. So a square is both a rectangle and a rhombus, and we get the following properties regarding the diagonals. Let's take a look at example number 8. So we have a square with angle PRQ to be 9x plus 72. Since the diagonals are perpendicular, we can set this equation 9x plus 72 is equal to 90. We can subtract 72 from both sides, and we get 9x is equal to 18, and then divide by 9, and we'll get x to be equal to 2. Let's take a look at example number 9. So we have a square here, and we discussed that the diagonals are perpendicular, so I have 4 right angles in the middle, which means z is 90 degrees. We also discussed that the diagonals bisect the angle, so up at the top we have angle PNM. We know that's 90 degrees, and since that diagonal cuts that angle in half, we know y is 45 degrees. And then the other angle I want is angle NQP, and I like to trace it. NQP is this yellow angle, and that's also 45 degrees. Let's take a look at problem number 10. Since this is a square, we know that we have 4 right angles. So all of these angles are right angles. Make a big right angle. So 7x plus 118 is equal to 90. I'll subtract 118 from both sides. So we get 7x is equal to, and I need to grab my calculator, 90 minus 118 is equal to negative 28. I'll divide by 7, and x is equal to negative 4. Now, I'm going to check it. I'll say 7 times negative 4 plus 118 That does equal 90, so I know I did this problem correctly. Angles cannot be negative, but it's perfectly fine that the value of x is negative.